They call me Joefer, I'm a cranky old man. I sip my coffee like it's part of the plan.
Hey y'all, it's Joefer here, the Cranky Old Gay Guy. Welcome to my world. So what's going on? Well, this morning, I think it was this morning, an older gay guy show, Joey Hernandez, he interviewed me a month or so ago, and it was a two-part interview, and the second part dropped this morning. So if you want to hear that, I will put a link in the description, and you could find him, any podcast system you're going through. Just look up An Older Gay Guy Show. And the title of this episode that he did is called Interview with Joefer Part 2. So go ahead and check that out. And while you're at it, check out his other episodes. What's happening with me? Let's see. Well, I decided to trim my beard because I have a gauge setting on my clippers. And if it gets over a 2, little hairs just start sticking straight out and it just looks really weird. So I took my clippers yesterday morning, and I started to do this, and it was pulling, and it's like, and I looked at it, and I had it set on 1. So I had these big gashes in my beard. So I had to take it all down, and you know, my jowls right here, they're a bit smaller than they were. I mean, I'd like them to be more like this, but I still got a lot of this going on. But they are smaller than they were when I covered them up with this. So I might just keep this look for a while. Your opinion? Votes? Yes? No? Whatever. Yesterday, I told you about the fleeting days of summer. Well, I did make it to Rooster Rock State Park, and it was incredibly windy. So I walked back to the bluff, which you go down this trail back to the bluff, and that's where most of the bears hang out. And if you go further than that, then you're on Desperation Trail. And I've also mentioned Desperation Trail in the past. It is a long-ass trail with little turnoffs, and it's where people go when they're, I guess, experiencing desperation. Is that a polite family way to put that? Yesterday, it wasn't super hot, but it was sunny. But Desperation Trail was all shade. So I'm not going down there. I just stayed at the bluff. I did take a walk down later with some friends that showed up, but it was pretty darn chilly. And then back at the bluff, I was there, I think 6:30 or so. And there, a lot of people started showing up. And let me tell you, since it is the fleeting days of summer, the animals were very restless. Now, I can't go into details because what happens at Rooster Rock stays at Rooster Rock. But one of the visitors was saying, I'm standing here and I'm confused. I don't understand what our community is all about and our culture's about. I mean, you have all of these things happening around us and everyone's just doing their own thing. And it was like, yeah, isn't it beautiful? Let people do what they want to do as long as they're not hurting anyone. Bygones, let bygones be bygones, different strokes for different folks. And that's the way it was yesterday. It was friendly. It was fun. It was happy. Met some new people. I shouldn't say just new people. I met some younger people. In fact, I met one, and then he introduced me to his other friends that were all young. And then another friend showed up who was, I think, even younger. So he was 24. His friends were right in the 25 range. And then this other person showed up that was probably 23. And they were all young and very, very fit. Let's just leave it at that. The walkout, I was walking out with a friend or two friends, and one of them had Sora on his phone, which is a new AI. It's only available for Apple right now, so I couldn't try it out. But he opens it and he takes a picture of something and he wants it in his own words. So the screen tells him what to say. Like he has to say 3 words. The AI then clones his voice and creates a 30-second video about whatever his picture was. On the way out, well, he showed me one when we were on the bluff, and it was about, it was just a picture of him and his voice, and he was sanding wood talking about something. I don't know. It was odd because it jumped all over the place. It was just a random video. And then on the way out, we saw several trees that beavers had just chewed the heck out of. Some of them had been chewed to the point where they fell over. And he took a picture of this tree that had big notches in it and wood chips all over the ground. And that's all he put out. And an entire 30-second video came out, which was a story about him looking at this tree, finding this tree, picking up the wood chips, smelling them, and talking about beavers. And it was very, very realistic. So Sora is this good now. This time next year, if Sora is even around, other advances will come. But it was almost imperceptible from a real video. The thing that gave it away was he didn't have a lot of wrinkles on his face, and he's 60 or 61. The lighting was perfect. Everything was absolutely perfect. And in reality, when you just take a video with your phone, you get sun shadows, you get shadows in the background. This didn't have those. This was just perfect everything, which tells me that it's fake, because nothing in this world is perfect, especially if you shoot it yourself. If you're going to get the proper lighting, it's going to take time. You're going to have to bring in reflectors and lights and that kind of thing. But on these videos, they are absolutely perfect. Everything's in focus. Even the gnawing of the tree, it didn't show as many gnaw marks. They were really rough and choppy, like someone had just taken a blade and chop. But in the video, they were a lot smoother, as if it had been sculpted. But it was very, very realistic. And I want to try it out, but I don't have Apple products, so it's not available to me. And that's where we're at with that. I don't want to harp on the war that's happening here in our town, but if you go online and just search Kristi Noem visits Portland, you will see many, many videos of the atrocities that were taking place. Her standing on a roof with unmasked ICE agent, a camera crew, and several conservative influencers looking down at the protesters. The police had blockaded the block because they knew she was coming. So everyone was a half block away. And there were 12 protesters on the corner over here. And back behind this other building, you could see that there were probably 10 or 20 people. No one was riding. One person was in a yellow chicken suit. In fact, I think that chicken suit was shown in a previous video I did, because that person, I think, is there every day. And Kristi Noem is just standing there shaking her head. And the guy that was recording her camera person, said, "So what do you have to say about these protesters?" And she said, "It's sad that they're so uneducated and ill-informed." That was the only remark she made about these horrible protests taking place. Now, if you do your search online and you look at other videos, she'll say that she talked to the mayor, she talked to the governor, she talked to the police chief, and she's been disappointed in all of them, and that we need to stop letting Antifa run this city. And unless the mayor does what she told him to do, she's going to send fourfold the National Guard troops that were supposed to come here, and we will smother you, Portland. That's what she said. We're gonna cover you up, and we're gonna make sure that our people are safe and the people of Portland are safe. She kept saying that. She kept saying, we're here to make sure that every citizen in this city is protected. And it's like, protected from what? Your ICE agents are the ones who are hurting us. And that makes me cranky. The fact that it doesn't matter what we do as citizens of the city, they will do whatever they can to get their agenda across so he can cause a disturbance and, call in the National Guard and do martial law, which is what his plan is. It's for martial law, so he can suspend the elections that are happening next year, because he doesn't want to leave office. He wants to stay in power, because he knows if he leaves office, he will be thrown in prison. Well, he'll be tried first. And at his age, he might never make it to prison. I mean, those trials could go on for years and years and years. But all of those people under him, Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem, and the rest here on Gilligan's Island, they're all going to be tried. Pam Bondi, they will all go to prison, and we'll have a Democrat president in office at that time. And foolishly, that Democratic official will pardon them because, they're just doing their job. That's the struggles that we have here in Portland and in this country with legislators that aren't tough. Yeah. Okay, that's all I got for you today. Again, check out the Joey Hernandez interview on an older gay guy show. Link in the description, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye. I almost forgot. Stay cranky, my friends. Stay cranky. Bye-bye.
They call me Joefer, I'm a cranky old man. I sip my coffee like it's part of the plan. An older gay guy with a mic in his hand, he said, Joefer, tell us, spill the tea if you can. Portland ain't burning, no flames in the air, no tanks in the streets, just roses out there. They say it's a war zone, but honey, beware, it's green and it's pretty, so don't you despair. Don't you despair. I told him Portland's got that mossy glow, the trees, the rivers, they steal the show, but the news loves drama, you know how it goes. They paint a picture, but it's all for the show. I'm cranky, I'll own it, but I'm not blind. Beauty's out there if you just take the time. Portland ain't burning, no flames in the air, no tanks in the streets, just roses out there. They say it's a war zone, but honey, beware, it's green and it's pretty, so don't you despair. I'm old, I'm gay, I've seen it all, from disco days to Stonewall's call. But this city, this town, it stands so tall, not a war zone.